Hello and how's it going everyone? It's Chrono again, coming at you with a little something different this time. Bandai finally put out the English translations for the full set list of EB03 last week on their website, so I thought it would be fun to go over each of those cards and discuss their potential uses as well as give them a rating. Basically, it's just an excuse for me to yap about the new One Piece cards, but I'll try to be a bit more objective about it. I'm going to be taking a page of the old Hearthstone book and using a 5-star rating scale. So, if I give a card a 1-star rating, it means that I believe the card will not see any play in any deck, even the ones that presumably it was designed to be a part of. Think vanilla 3-cost 5Ks, weird tech cards that just don't really do anything in the meta, or any kind of low-impact events. If a card is a 2-star card, it may see some play in decks, but mainly they are lower powered decks that are really only going to play that card because it happens to be in their archetype and there are no better options. Vanilla 2Ks, low cost blockers with no effect, counter events, removal events, basically deck slots that could theoretically be filled by something else. These are just preferred because they could be searched or specifically help a niche leader to perform their game plan. This is also where I'll be rating leaders, which I believe will be basically dead on arrival, just a poor package of cards to go along with them in addition to having a very weak leader effect. Pour one out for Jinbei, folks. 3 stars is where I'll be putting cards with generically good effects that any leader with that color may consider putting in their deck in order to perform a specific function. These cards will see some play in decks that cannot otherwise perform the thing that they provide. Think like 5-cost Carrot, 1-cost Suru, 7-cost Gravity Blade. Rarely are these cards all-stars, but they do often creep their way into deck lists because nothing else quite does what they do. Alternatively, these cards could be tech cards that a top 5 deck might play to help tech against a specific matchup. Something like Roger currently could be considered a 3-star card, the 10-cost Rusher, as it wouldn't really normally be played in Ace, but it is specifically played in order to beat Emo. Or, Emo plays the Shirahoshi 2K. It's a card that they normally wouldn't slot in, but it just happens to be very effective against Ace. And so, should something happen that makes either of these decks less prevalent or weaker, then suddenly you're going to start to see Roger and Ace or Shirahoshi and Emu start to go down, because, well, there's no longer a matchup that they need those for. In regards to leaders, 3-star leaders will have good effects with a lot of potential, but a poor initial support package that will lead to them being very weak on release. They just, they have potential to improve later on with more cards. 4-star cards are just good cards that slot into already good decks, something that's in archetype and better than what the deck was playing before, or powerful enough that they're going to make some room for it. A 4-star card could be an insane boost for a weaker deck, something that allows them to fundamentally change the way that they play, or just increase their current strategy enough to actually compete in the meta. Though, not enough to make them meta, mind you, just playable. A 4-star leader is strong and flexible with a good set of support cards off-rip, but it's just not quite good enough to be considered meta, not in the top 5 of the format. 5-star cards will then be the most impactful of the set, a leader that is meta-warping, forcing all other decks to consider its abilities during their deck construction. This is a card that is basically an auto-include in every single deck that can play it, and the decks that do play it are already top-tier decks. In fact, these are cards that are so powerful that strong decks will change a huge chunk out of their deck in order to better synergize with that card, like swapping out one archetype for another. Alternatively, this is a card that will raise an untiered leader all the way up to meta relevancy, becoming basically a top 5 leader overnight. Alright, so with the rating system explained, let's get straight into talking about some cardboard. Starting off with EB03-001, it's the only new leader of the set, Vivi. Much like her previous iteration, she's a red-blue leader, but this time they actually let her attack, so she's down to being just a 4-life leader. Her effect is also reminiscent of the old leader. She can rest herself to reduce a power of an enemy character, and also give a character without a win attacking ability rush. This is an effect similar to Marco's, but with a little bit more flexibility since you can use it without a Dawn attached. There's a ton of good on-play characters that you'd then love to give Rush. For example, Rayleigh, Beckman, 10-cost Popshanks, 10-cost Kaidos, both the drawer and the bouncer, just to name a few. Not to mention, any new blue or red on-plays printed from now on would be a potential boon for this deck. It's a small shame that she's not as effectively able to use the old Vivi support. Happiness Punch requires a standing leader on defense in order to be effective. The 3-cost Chaka has a win attacking effect, so you can't use your leader effect to give it rush. The Chopper package, which used to enable you to play the Super Duck Build Duck Squad, is a win attacking effect, so you can't really play the Chopper stuff. Maybe I'm just nostalgic for those old cards, but it would have been nice to slot them in. At least you can still use a Garum to great effect. If an Alabasta package is at all playable, then this guy is basically a blocker, as the opponent will need to eliminate him after you've used him to search a card, otherwise you're going to get to draw some extra cards every single turn. And on turns that you use them, you can also just rest your leader to give whatever you just played rush after you get your search. All in all, I am excited for this leader, but I don't think she has quite what it takes to break through to the upper echelon of play. Likely she'll be a nice tier 2 or maybe even a tier 1.5 leader with a lot of room to grow. The leader is very flexible, and she does have some very nice cards to use right away, which I'll get to later in the set, and for that reason I'll be giving her 4 stars. And for card number 2, we have the much less exciting Ein. Ladies and gentlemen, Ein is a vanilla 2K with the Film and Neo Navy archetypes. Does Neo Navy even have any support? I'm actually kind of a big fan of these vanilla 2Ks. It's a sort of backup plan for something to play on curve when your hand doesn't have anything else to do, and Bandai keeps printing them for basically every archetype, as well as ways to cheat out the vanillas for each color, a la Usopp from EB03. So while I don't think this card is going to be widely used, it is a nice option to at least use for RP Uta as another filmed 2K, although regrettably not one you can grab back with Guild Tesoro. I'll give this one 2 stars. Card number 3 of the set is another Uta-only card. It's Uta, a 5-cost 7k power card with no counter power and the ability to draw 2 cards, then play a vanilla 6k from hand, looking at you, Ein, but only if you're playing Uta. For RP Uta, it's a terrific card to be certain, but I'm skeptical that it will actually help her stave off the early aggression, which has been such a problem for her in other metas. Even though she's a ramp deck, the earliest this card is coming down is going to be turn 3, regardless of whether you got to go first or second. And assuming you did ramp, you're still going to have a Dawn or 2 left over, so this card just doesn't really slot into Uta's curve very well. It's also another no-brick counter in an archetype that's already got a ton of them. For the effect itself, drawing cards is amazing of course, but then you're dropping a 2k out of your hand onto the board for tempo in a deck that is basically not built for tempo. I guess I would have wished for something like a 6-cost 7k with counter power that draws 2 cards and then plays any 6k character from hand. That way you could at least jam a Guild Tesoro down and grab some more cards out from your trash. Still, this card will certainly staunch some of the weaknesses from Uta, just not enough to raise her up to playability. In other words, it's a typical 3-star card. Up next is Karina, a 3-cost blocker that becomes a 6k power on the opponent's turn as long as you're a multicolor leader and you have no other 6k power characters in play. It's a solid little card for any red multicolor leader that leans on the slow side, as it can help you save some cards in your hand from early attacks. Leaders like Caesar Clown, either the red-black Sabos, the new Vivi, Sugar, and Marco could consider playing this card as a going first option. Well, a going second option for Sugar, and I think a few of them will. It's nothing too crazy, but it's the first 3-cost 6k blocker that we've gotten, and so I'm inclined to give it 3 stars. I do think it'll see some play in some deck, as it is just generically pretty good. Card number 5 of EB03 brings us Sugar support. It's a 3-cost Sugar that says you can play a 6k Don Quixote character from hand rested. She's got some great targets like PRV2 Dofi and the event Rosinante, and it will allow you to start restanding a Dawn with leader effect on turn 2 rather than turn 3. A very good card for Sugar, but she'll still need a little bit more to contend with the meta, I fear. The best use case scenario for this card is when you're going second, you play this and the PRV2 Dofi, and then ramp again on their turn when they attack, and drop either an 8-cost blocker Katakuri, 8-cost Rayleigh, or an 8-cost Dofi on your turn 3. Technically, you can still use her going first, but getting to 7 with your double ramp is a lot less exciting as the card pool is a lot less impactful. And so, while it's powerful double ramping to an 8-drop on turn 3, you're going into a meta where every deck wants to go second already, and so if you lose the die roll, you're immediately off of your best curve. Every single time, for every matchup. Not to mention, once the Sugar is in play, She's not exactly doing anything for you. There's no way currently for red or purple to utilize their leftover small body characters like blue, or to a lesser extent green and black, are able to. At least, not until OP14, when the new Don Quixote event is going to drop that allows you to redirect an attack to one of your Don Quixote characters. So once that comes out, this card will get a little bit more playability. All in all, it's still a great card for Sugar, it's just not exactly going to propel her to newfound heights just yet. I'll give it 3 stars overall. Next is an Alabasta Nami, which is made to work with the new Vivi. She draws you a card on play by reducing your active leader's power, then Vivi can use her effect to give the Nami rush and reduce the power of an enemy character. Nami also has a small activate main effect to reduce one of your opponent's characters by 1000 power. It's a great little extra debuff to put things in range of your removal effects, or just help you swing over them. A nice little turn progression that Vivi can do with this card is, if she gets to go second, she can drop an Agarim on 1, play a Chaka on 2, and swing 6 with the lead, and then on 3 drop this Nami, use the Agarim, use their leader effect and the Nami effect to bring down an enemy character 3k power, and then swing the Chaka with the Dawn attached so that you can effectively KO a 6k power character, and still swing the Nami afterwards. Even if you have to go first though, just dropping this and attacking sounds pretty good. Whatever Vivi ends up doing, it is certainly going to revolve around this card, and for that reason I'll be giving it 4 stars. That brings us to Baccarat, a 4-cost 5k blocker with an on-KO effect to play a vanilla 6k character. It's fine, if your deck is already playing the 2k vanillas you could slot this in and it would be a sticky body that cheats out the 6k power characters. The problem is that no existing archetype in any color has more than one 2k vanilla that has the requisite 6k power for what you'd want to cheat out, and so you'd have to go out of your way to put in more of the vanilla 2ks just to get the most out of this card, which is not usually a sacrifice that most decks are going to want to make. Not even Arpiuta, which this seems like it would be designed for, has access to more than one film 6k powered 2k counter character. And so I'm going to give this one a 2-star rating, and we're going to move on. Next we've got Hibari. She's a 3-cost 5k sword navy character that allows a sword leader or character to attack active characters on play and when attacking, and also has Nami's effect to slightly reduce an enemy character's power as an activate main. It's a great synergistic package for specifically Kobe, helping to deal with small characters and aggressive decks that Kobe used to have some trouble in dealing with, such as from the Rayleigh deck. Rayleigh's not nearly the problem that he used to be though, as, well, Emu, Zoro, and Ace have kind of taken over the meta, and none of them are particularly threatening with their characters in the early game. And so, while Rayleigh could rear his head once again later on, for right now this card is just not really helping us to shut down early aggression, since the early aggression from characters just doesn't exist. I'll give this card a 3-star rating. Kobe is likely just going to end up playing this card anyway, as it's a well-statted character that he can play on curve, especially when going first, but it's not going to realistically boost Kobe's power by that much because it doesn't solve any of the issues that Kobe currently has against the top-tier decks. Card 009 of EB03 is another Makino, and you may remember the first Makino from back in set 1. It was a 1-cost 2k character that could rest itself to give a 1-cost red character a plus 3k power. And this Makino does something very similar, but a little bit more flexible. Basically, you can still rest it to give a no effect character a 2k power bonus, so it doesn't just have to be a 1-cost character anymore, and it still has the 2k counter power. Possible decks that would be interested in a card like this is any deck that wants to play the Curly de Dawn and the original Makino, which is basically just Red Zoro and the old starter deck Red Luffy. Red Zoro would likely rather just play the animal package still, as it does generate more resilient bodies, and keeping more bodies in play is definitely preferable for the Zoro. However, Red Luffy might actually consider the 1-drop package as a way to rush down the opposition. Spoiler alert, I may have this guy in a Rogue Revolution coming soon, and it's got some decent results already, and I'm still tweaking the deck, so this card may help push that one a little bit further. I'm a little skeptical though, as you might imagine, as, the boost simply isn't as great as the original Makino. It would have been a lot nicer if it was still a 3k bonus, and so you'd also have to make some deck compromises, changing out basically a couple of your 1-drops to be a little bit higher in power to get the most out of this card, and for that reason, I'm just going to be rating it as a 2-star, possible tech card on release. It's a decent option for a very specific deck package. Card number 10 is Monet, a 5-cost Don Quixote pirate with 6k power and blocker that on play grabs a small character or event from the top 5 of your deck. It's another target for the 3-cost sugar and refills itself on play to give you a little bit more consistency, a solid boon that doesn't really solve the overall problem of the deck, which is that its going first curve is just so much worse than its going second one. It's a good 3-star card nonetheless, just like the sugar before it, it's not exactly pushing the deck all the way up to meta relevancy. Next is the final red card of the set and another Vivi support card. It's an event called If We Ever See Each Other Again, Would You Give Me Plus 4,000 counter power? And the answer is yes, we would give her the 4,000 counter power. It's a good card, basically just Radical Beam, but it's always on and another reason to play an Alabasta sub-engine. In the end, I'll say it's a 3-star card. Unlike for Emu, who also has a Radical Beam that's always on, it's a bit more awkward for Vivi to fit this into her turn, as on the 10 Dawn turns, a lot of times she wants to play a 10-cost character, but she won't have the available Dawn to play this card if she does so. And so it's still a solid card, and certainly better than Radical Beam specifically for Vivi, but probably it's just going to be like a 2 of, so that she can help to live one more turn in the late game. For the first green card of the set, we've got Otama. She's a 2-cost, 2k counter character that can activate main and rest 1 Dawn from the opponent. Sort of an in-archetype mini Hody Jones that only works on Dawn. Okay, well technically it does also have the effect it can rest an animal or smile type character as long as they're cost 3 or less, so I guess you could use it to rest a chopper blocker if one of those popped up anytime soon, but there's not a lot else that it's going to be doing other than getting the Dawn rested. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 3-star rating. The main use case for it is limiting the amount of black holes that Zoro runs into. Basically, it's just another tech card for green decks that further incentivizes the inclusion of a Wano package for the green deck, something that I'm already always inclined to try out just due to the fact that Wano comes with 2 searchers and a draw 2 spell that can be found in that archetype. For me, it's a card that isn't going to make a lot of waves, but it is a good card, and I think it will probably see plenty of play, especially in the green-yellow Yamato deck. The second green card is the 6-cost Carrot card. She's a 7k power character that pops a rested 5-cost on play, and then you can play a Zo from your hand for no cost. A sort of Odyssey Sakazuki for Carrot, but this one has counter power. Also, a just in case your 1-cost Searcher Carrot whiffed on Zo, but then you drew it later effect. I'm going to tentatively give this thing a 3-star rating, though if I'm really being honest with myself, it's probably a 2 or even a 1-star card for the current format. The thing is, if you whiff on the Carrot Searcher, it's very unlikely that you're going to draw the Zo in your next 2 to 3-ish cards before this one comes down. It could happen, or you could just not get the Searcher Carrot, and then also have the Zo in play as well as this card on your 6th Dawn turn, so the extra effect does come up sometimes, but it's more of a quality of life effect that isn't going to factor too much in the power level of this card. The main thing that this thing does is KO a 5-cost character. This sounds great on paper, but the current meta of the game has 1, a leader whose characters are straight up unaffected by pop effects, 2, Marco, who you would rather just stun rather than KO because you don't want Ace to draw a bunch of cards, and 3, Zoro, who doesn't really care much about this card and will still be able to rest it with his Dashigi and then swing big into it on the turn after that you play it. So while most green decks used to be able to put a card like this to use, it's really just not a good meta for it right now. And to make matters worse for this card, the EB03 6-cost law that lets you bounce a character to play a 5-cost is just a better 6-drop in general than this card. If popping 5-costs ever becomes more important, then this card would be a great way to do that, but until then, this card is just not particularly useful when we could instead be using the old 5-cost Carrot, which is a non-removal effect and so is much more better suited to the meta. The third green card is Kuina. Similar to her 4-cost iteration, she rests herself to give some Dawn to your leader. Unlike the other Kuina though, this one it can be used by any slash leader, not just Zoro. Just off the top of my head, Arlong would love this card, Zoro and Sanji would love it, heck, even Odin, the red-green one, might try to make some room for it. And of course, Zoro may consider it as well. I give it 3 stars as a convenient enabler for combo plays, especially when you pair it with the Zoro Sanji leader or the OP13 Law card. She's going to let you remain Dawn efficient even when using those cards' effects on a character from your hand. Even if you end up leaving her on the board, she does require a swing to clear, making her another pseudo blocker for green, another nuisance for decks without a lot of little characters to get rid of. Next is Cammy, a Fishman Island merfolk for 2 that can rest herself to give your Fishman or merfolk leader or character a Dawn and rest an enemy 2-cost character. Man, talk about a card that just has no home right now. This is the epitome of a 1-star card. I just don't see any sort of leader that would want to play this over other options. So, okay, imagine this, you're playing a Fishman package, you can't search this because she's named Cammy, so the Cammy searcher just doesn't find her. So instead you have to use the Shirahoshi searcher, but the only deck that's going to want to play that is Shirahoshi herself, and Shirahoshi isn't going to want to commit to a Cammy just because she's already pressed for board space as it is. Maybe Arlong could just suck it up and decide to play it as an unsearchable piece of tech, but if we were going to do that, then we might as well just play the Queen I just talked about as the card before, only that card is more Dawn efficient and actually is searchable by the Perona, as the Perona can just grab her as a slash character. I genuinely just don't really understand why they printed this Cammy. The 5th green card is Hiyori. It's a 1-cost card that draws a card on play, but only if your leader is Oded, and also it can trash itself to give your leader a Dawn, but only if you're a Land of Wano leader. This is going to be a 4-star card for me, and it's going to be a 4 of if your leader's name is Odin. It's going to elevate the consistency of the Odin decks by a considerable amount, as well as allow you to play the Wano Draw 2 spell with more reliability. The consistency and card draw are always welcome for any deck, and this card helps with both. Next up is Bonnie, a 5-cost that's a bit like the EB02 Arlong. It prevents a 5-cost or less character from being rested until the start of your next turn, and sets a Dawn as active, but it's restricted to only being used by Supernova leader types. They usually make these kinds of cards only give you Dawn back at the end of the turn, making them really only useful for Bonnie, but thankfully this one's a bit more flexible as you get the Dawn up front, so every Supernova leader is going to probably consider this as at least a 2 of. I'm going to go ahead and give this card a 4-star rating, as it is a great inclusion for Supernovas as an archetype, and something even Zoro might just be interested in. Where this could really shine is Green-Yellow Law. If he's on an empty board, he can still use a Capone and this on 6 to get to his effect being active. Of course, Cavendish can serve the same purpose, but extra copies of Cavendish are always welcome in that deck, and this one comes with the upside of mitigating the pressure that your opponent could put out on your next turn. The 7th green card is Tashigi, another SP for this set, and it doesn't disappoint. This thing has 2 very relevant effects aside from just being a blocker. It can't be KO'd by effects on the opponent's turn, and it can restand itself at the cost of 1 Dawn and a card from your hand. Talk about a build-around for your offense, this thing is a go-to and an absolute all-star for basically every single green deck. 5 stars. Dodging removal and being searchable by Perona makes this thing amazing for slash leaders against Emu, and it also makes Koshiro and Tashigi, the 3-cost protection one, unnecessary for their protection effects, and then Emu won't even be able to swing into it once it's attacked because it can just restand itself. If you can jam this thing on the board and then another one on the turn after, and then another one after that, it's going to become a real headache real fast for the Emu player. Now, not having any counterpower is a significant drawback, of course, and it's susceptible to a bounce or a bottom deck from Aces effects, not to mention Zoro can still just swing into it, but green decks in general have other ways to help deal with those decks. They just didn't before have a really good unit to deal with Emu. And following the fantastic Tashigi is the very lackluster Wanda. Unsearchable by the Meek's Searcher because it has the same name, this 6-cost 7k blocker has no additional effects other than being a blocker. 1 star, there's really just not much to say about it, and there would need to be some crazy way to cheat this out before you'd ever consider putting it in any deck. And lastly, there's the green event. Here he comes, the Sore Loser. Another Radical Beam, this time with the condition you have to have 2 film characters in play. Well, film decks tend to spit out film characters like there's no tomorrow, so it's very likely the condition will be fulfilled for them, and then the question becomes how good is a Radical Beam for a film deck? Well, it's decent due to how many no counter cards are in the archetype, and the trigger could also theoretically save your life by restanding one of your Uta or Luffy blockers. It's a 3-star card, likely just going to end up in green Uta, which I expect to become a pretty good deck based on some of the other cards that are coming up. For the blue cards, we are starting with Alvida. She's finally an answer for buggy to swarm strategies. For just 4 Dawn and an extra card out of your hand, you can bottom deck 2 small characters, one with a cost of 3 or less, and one with base power 4000 or less. It's basically just an answer to Rayleigh specifically, but it is an effective one. And that's also a matchup that Buggy would struggle with at times, so this is a welcome answer for him and a new headache for Rayleigh. Unfortunately, she will not count towards your 5-cost characters though, so not exactly perfect for Buggy. I'll give it a 3-star for solving a problem that Buggy used to have. It's just unfortunately not one that he has that's keeping him out from the top 5. Also, technically you could play this in any blue deck, but it just doesn't really feel like other blue decks would struggle nearly as much as Rayleigh or other small character decks as Buggy used to. EB03 brings us Isuka, a 6k blocker for 6 that bottom decks a cost 4 or less character. Very generically solid defensive tool, and it even has counterpower. Kuzan would probably consider this to help bridge the gap before his Garp comes down, but theoretically any blue deck could play this. I'll give it 3 stars as a generic good blue card, but it probably isn't making it into the ace deck. It's competing directly with Jozu for the job. On the upside of this one, it has the blocker trait and bottom decks instead of bounces, but Jozu does have the flexibility to bounce 2 of your own characters back to your hand so that you get some additional counter power. Also, Jozu has 7k power. They're side grades to each other, and I'm sure it's just going to come down to whether you are playing the Navy or the Whitebeard Pirates as to which one you're going to pick. Blue card number 3 is Kaya. She is a 2-cost character with 2k counter power that lets you sort the top 5 cards of your deck. East Blue typing is the main draw of this character, as you're allowed to play it in the new Nami deck. And for Nami, this card is pretty good. Other decks that are playing in an Ivankov 2-cost package may also consider this instead of the Usopp, as it's just that card, but it has 2k counter. I'm once again giving this one 3 stars, but it's mostly just because of its use in Nami. The Ivankov engine has largely fallen out of favor for most decks as simply being too slow. Next up is another SP, it's Vivi. She's a 5-cost blocker with 4k power that lets you play an Alabaster or Straw Hat character with cost 5 or less from your hand. This card is great for helping you fill up the board with blockers, as it can cheat the 5-cost Nami blocker into play, giving you 2 blockers for the price of 1. Also in blue is the 5-cost Ace card, which has the Alabasta typing that blue-yellow Ace players would use to search a 2-cost Little Ace from their deck and then put it into play. And those are just the ones in blue, but there's plenty of Straw Hat characters to consider in the other colors if you're playing a dual-colored leader. I give this card 5 stars. A flexible and outstanding tool every blue deck will consider playing, and those that are already playing Straw Hats will likely just auto-include. The next card is Hina, a 5-cost 6k character that bounces a 6k power character back to the hand at the cost of trashing 1 card. Technically generic, but the only deck that will really want to consider this one is Kuzan, since he can just draw a card after pitching one. This is a good answer for Kuzan into an established Marco or Yamato from Ace, but not much else. Normally I would say that's about it, but there's a couple more cards on this list coming up that Kuzan is definitely going to want to include this card in order to target, and for that reason I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 3-star rating. It's a relevant tech card for the upcoming meta. The second blue SP for the set is Boa Hancock, a 6-cost 8k power character with no counter power that forces the opponent to bottom deck a card from their hand if they have 5 or more, and then she can bottom deck her own character in order to give 1 Rested Dawn to your leader and 1 to a character. Blue decks have no shortage of little helpful goobers to spit onto the board, so it's likely you'll have a Sengoku or Otama or something else in play by the time she hits the board. I'll give her 4 stars. It's a pair of powerful effects to be sure, and there's an additional support card for this one coming up, which will certainly help strengthen the 7 Warlords package as a whole, but I am skeptical that she's going to be able to push any of the decks she's played in up into top 5 meta relevancy. Next is an Amazon Lily that is very puzzling to me. It's Marguerite, a 6-cost 7k character that bounces specifically a 7k power character back into the owner's hand. It's such a narrow effect, and there's just not a lot of specifically 7k power characters being played right now. I mean, yeah, it hits Jozu, Sanji and Pudding, Blocker Sabo, Beer Luffy, but that's about it. 1 star. It would have to be a very specific meta for any deck to even consider playing this, as it's just such a narrow and fair statted card. The last blue character is Yu. That's right, they put Yu in the game. She's an East Blue character that forces you to trash a card on play, but that can trash herself as an activate main in order to draw 2 cards if you have 4 or less in hand. I give it 4 stars because if Nami is ever going to do anything ever, it will solely be on the back of this card, Kaya, Sanji's Pilaf, and Gum Gum Gavel. It's a godsend to a deck that is struggling to find purchase, but to be frank, between those 16 cards you do get to go through 32 cards in the deck. There's only 40 to start, so all you gotta do from there is get through about another 4 to 6 with everything else in the deck. Okay, well that's an oversimplification as you could end up trashing some of the draw cards off your gavel, but we are getting dangerously close to a critical mass of these effects in the East-Blue typing, and that would push Nami to be a contender again. And lastly for the blue cards, that's the event Insolent Fool, Stand Down, where My Goat Smoker is getting washed by Boa. It's one of those flex 1-cost events that Bandai loves printing, which can either give your leader 3k power as a counterspell, or you can activate main and spend 5 total Dawn in order to cheat a 6-cost Boa into play. You're only saving 1 Dawn by spending 2 cards, but blue decks in general don't mind trading cards for tempo, and the big draw of this card is allowing you to dodge an Emu's Mars removal by skipping your 5-cost turn and jumping straight to a 6 Dawn character. 3 stars. It's a good card with a solid use case, but I just don't see it being enough even with how many 6-cost Boa options that they're printing for us. We've already got 2, and we're almost certainly going to get another one with the OP14 cards. I do think that it's going to really excel once we do get the new OP14 Boa leader, as there's going to be a whole slew of new support for this card as well as all the other Boas. And so it may jump up to being a 4 or even a 5-star card once that's printed, but for right now I just don't see the current 7 Warlords as quite getting there. Starting things off for purple is a Viola 2K with the Donkey... Wait a minute, it's Dressrosa? Why is there a purple Dressrosa card? Okay, well, there's no deck that really wants this or can even use it, like, at all. Possibly this is just to tease a new leader? I don't know, but for now it's a 1-star card. No deck is gonna even look twice at this thing. Purple card number 2 is Reiju, a 5-cost 5k power character that can don -1 if you're Sanji and play any event with cost 7 or less from your trash. Okay, yeah, 5 stars. That effect is amazing, and Sanji might just be a real contender after getting it. Right off the bat, you have Gravity Blade and Red Rock, but if you don't need to remove anything, you can also just use both bursts to draw 2. It's flexible, it's powerful, it scales with any additional big blue or purple event that gets printed. I mean, this is kind of just a custom card that Sanji really needed to put him over the top. Emus might still be a problem for him, but we'll see what ends up happening going forward, as that's really the last deck I can see standing in Sanji's way. Moving right along to purple card number 3, it's Charlotte Flampe, a 1-cost character that pumps your Katakuri leader by 2k power. Combine that with purple Katakuri's leader effect, and you can swing a massive 7k swing with your leader to try to help close the game out from an empty board. Other than this card, the only purple card that boosts power right now is Punk Rotten for specifically the Kid leader, so Katakuri may be able to incorporate a couple copies of this card to help him try to close a game. It just, well, it has a couple of problems. I'm going to give this one a 2-star rating overall as a tech card in a weaker deck because 1, it can't be searched by your searcher Pudding. It's only a 1-cost card, and Pudding searches 2-cost or greater Big Mom Pirates. And 2, it doesn't really do anything to shore up the weaknesses of Katakuri, which is that the deck has no protection for its characters, nor does it have enough card draw to really keep up with a lot of decks. Well, Flampe wasn't quite good enough, but what about Brule, another card for Katakuri? This one's a 5-cost 6k power character that on your opponent's turn, when you lose a Dawn from your field, you can get one back as rested. So if you couple this with Parrot Sparrow, you get to effectively use your leader effect on offense and defense every single turn for free. 2 stars, just like Flampe. This doesn't really address any of Katakuri's problems, and it won't boost its effectiveness by much. It might creep its way into a deck list, though it's just not going to do a lot to boost him up the ranks. Next is another Big Mom card, but not a Big Mom type card. It's just Big Mom herself, but back when she was still Charlotte Linlin on Rox's crew. For 7 Dawn, you get to draw 1 card, then stack the top card of your deck with a card from your hand, and then you get Dawn active onto your field from your Dawn pile. And then, if she's KO'd, you can Dawn -1 and heal 1 life from the top of your deck. 1 star, there is no deck that currently wants to play this card, it's way too slow and it doesn't synergize with anything. It's not searchable by any card except for the song cards currently. But if you want my opinion, this is just a sneak peek at the Rox leader, and when that guy comes out, it'll go in that deck, and Rox will probably have some way to use the card that you stacked on the top of your deck to get some crazy powerful effect. And so when that happens, I anticipate that this card will be decent, likely. Likely 3-star at that point, I would say. It all depends on how good the Rox support is that they print with him, We'll see what happens, but again, for now it's just a 1-star unsynergistic card. Alright, and one more Big Mom card. It's Pudding as a 2k counterblocker for 4 that has 4k power. 2k blockers are always a welcome sight for any deck that can play them. Just look at the 6-cost Sanji 2k that just often gets thrown into purple lists. I give it 3 stars. Many purple decks will consider it, especially since you'll be able to play it with 8-cost Katakuri and 9-Mom as a mini Big Mom package. Depending on your colors, you could probably throw in a Shuffler Pudding, a Zeus, or even just a Sanji Pudding and another 2k in order to satisfy the Pudding Searcher requirements. For the next card, we have Baby 5, a 4-cost 2k power character that can don -1 on play to pop 2 base 3-cost characters. It's an anti-aggro card with no home right now. I'll give it 1 star as it really just doesn't do anything that any deck wants to do for right now. I see the vision though. It's, well, if you looked at the OP14 spoilers, Dofi is coming with a counter event that Sugar could use with this, or the new Dofi could of course use with this, in order to redirect an attack into one of the Dofi characters. I think I mentioned it when talking about the 3-cost Sugar card, and so once that comes out, it'll definitely boost this card and that Sugar's playability a bit. Next up is Lim, a 4-cost Odyssey character with 2k counter that boosts all of your Odyssey characters and leader by 1k until the start of your opponent's turn, as long as you have 7 Dawn on your field. This one only goes in Lim, but it's amazing for Lim, giving all of her attacks some extra zip and also helping to defend her and her characters on the opponent's turn. And then also, it helps to shore up your going second curve by being another 4-drop that you can slot in addition to the audio. I'll give it 4 stars overall. The only real problem that I have with it is that because it's Lim, the Searcher Lim won't be able to grab it, but the cards that it's replacing are going to be the non-Odyssey cards that you were slotting in the deck anyway, like the 5-cost Smoker, so those couldn't be searched anyway by her, so not too big of a loss. The last purple card is Thanks for the Treat, a Germa event that allows you to pay 1 as a counter for 3k power, or pay 2 on your turn to ramp 2 Dawn as long as you have equal to or less Dawn than your opponent and only have Germa characters in play. 2 stars. Didn't we already have a card that catches us up on Dawn for Reiju? Oh yeah, it's Black Maria, and she does 5 Dawn at a time, and then you can do it again on your next turn. I guess this one's searchable, which is nice, but the restriction also means that you can't do the Foxy Pirate stuff anymore. I'm not confident that Reiju decks are going to be playing this one, but they could at the cost of all of the non-Germa characters in their deck. Okay, just 2 colors left. EB03-039, here's an ulti card. It's a 6-cost 7k character that cycles a card from your hand and then plays a vanilla 6k from your hand or trash. So it's a king card for your going first curve. You play Onigashima on 3 and then this on 6, and you get 2 guys. 2 stars, it's really just not that great overall. I think there is some kind of Animal Kingdom build for spamming guys between this and the page one that basically does the same thing, but man, are you gonna just die against Zoro. At least she's 6 cost and has counter power, unlike the red Uta one, but the Uta one drew cards. This one just cycles. If this one drew 2 cards and trashed one, it would really just be so much better. As it stands, King is better off waiting until a removal meta comes back instead of trying to zoo out his field. Next is Khalifa. She's a vanilla 2k with 6k power for CP9. If Lucci ever comes back in the meta, this one will probably go in that deck. 2 stars, Lucci is not in the meta and this card is not bringing him back. Third black card is Kujaku, another Kobe card. This one's a 4-cost 6k sword navy character that trashes a navy character, then draws 2 on play. Then, on the opponent's turn, it gives all of your 6-cost or less sword characters plus 2k power. I'm giving it 3 stars. It's a great card for Kobe, but with just this and the Hibari, Kobe isn't breaking through the meta. I'd love to be proven wrong. I do think the Kobe leader is cool, it's just hard to imagine his mix of strong defensive early game and lackluster endgame to find success when the best decks are so powerful in the endgame. One of these two needed to give him a real new endgame option, just because the 8-cost Kobe that he currently has isn't going to cut it by itself anymore. Moving right along, the first black SP card for the set is Koala, a 4-cost black character that gets plus 4 cost. This is a very familiar effect for all of the Rev Army cards in black, and then when it's KO'd, this card allows you to play a 6-cost or lower Rev Army or Robin character from your hand or trash. It seems fairly unassuming at first, as, well, your opponent could just ignore it, and then it's like you paid 4 mana for a 5k vanilla. But the power of it comes from the fact that both Sabo and Koala depend on having an 8-cost character on the board in order to get their effects. This one will allow each deck to always have an 8-drop starting when their next turn hits, and so Koala can play an additional 8-cost character and then start drawing with their leader effect, and Sabo will just be able to keep his board buff for basically forever. I give this one 5 stars. It's terrific anti-Zoro and Emu tech for 2 Rev Army decks that really needed the boost. I think both have a spot in the EB03 meta, and it's largely due to the addition of this card. From here we go to Stussy, a 7-cost blocker with 7k power. On play, she can put 2 CP characters back to the bottom of the deck to KO a 4-cost character. Well, since this is really going to only find a home in Lucci, and an additional popping effect is not going to be what raises that deck back to prominence, this is just a 2-star card. Lucci might end up playing it if they decide to swap out completely from the Navy package. This is basically just a side grade to the EB02 Sengoku blocker, but honestly the Sengoku still seems a little bit better as you do get 2 bodies in play, and then if it's a Kuzan you get to draw 1 card. Actually, Kuzan might be the main reason to keep playing Navy over just swapping over to only CP for that deck, as there's not really a comparable replacement yet for such a well-statted unit that draws a card and reduces the cost of opponents' characters every single turn that it's alive. Up next, we've got another King-only card. It's Black Maria, a 3-cost blocker that digs through the top 5 of your deck looking for Onigashima, and then plays 1 from hand. An incredible consistency booster for King, this card earns 3 stars from me. King did have consistency problems before, but he also has power problems. The game plan is solid. Go first, get Onigashima and play on 2, play a 6-cost unit, then play a 9-cost unit, and then play a 10-cost unit and draw 2 cards every single turn until the end of the game. It sounds really good on paper, but the 6-cost, 9-cost, and 10-cost characters that he has access to just don't go as far as they used to. Big Mom on 9 is still alright, and I guess the new ulti is serviceable, but then what are we doing on 10? 10-cost Kuzan? 10-cost Kaido? Everything is KO immune these days. We can't use those. Maybe he could make use of the new Roger to pump him up to a 7k leader, but I'm just not convinced that it's enough. And when you're facing Emu, being a 7k leader sounds pretty good, but you're still getting put under a lot of pressure once they start to establish their 5 Elders boards. And all this is to say that Black Maria is a good card, just not good enough to pull King back into the meta. And the second Black SP card for this set is Perona, a 4-cost 6k power Thriller Bark character that on play gives a Dawn to your leader, and then if you have 10 or more cards in your trash, you can play a 2-cost Thriller Bark character wrested from your trash. The second part of the effect is alright, but it's very unlikely that you'll proc it on curve. Instead, consider this simply as a blocker that gives a Dawn to your leader, and frankly, that seems really good. I give her 4 stars as this will definitely go a long way in helping Gecko keep up and solidifies him as a deck that wants to go second. Being able to play this on your 6th Dawn turn for 2 bodies, and then the 6-cost Gecko on 8 for 3 bodies, gives you a full board of 4-cost or higher characters over 2 turns for just 4 cards from your hand. That's a lot of attacks coming your opponent's way on the turn after that. If ever there was a time for Gecko to come back in the meta, this is the card that's going to allow him to do it. And Perona is also likely to use this card, it's just not going to be nearly as good for her. It's kind of nice that it allows you to swing 6 at Ace on 4 and still establish a 6k body, but Ryoma is likely going to be the preferred play for her for most other cases. Up next is Miss Doublefinger, a 4-cost 5k character that draws a card if there is a 0-cost or 8 or more cost character in play, and on KO trashes 2 cards from your deck. 1 star, this card doesn't go with anything at the moment. Now they did unveil the OP14 Croc leader recently, which showed you that you could KO your own characters to give something minus 10 cost, but then you can't KO anything with his effects per the rules. So obviously this card does go with that, but until we see more support for that leader, I'm keeping her at 1 star because even with that leader effect, this card just doesn't seem very good. Next card is Miss Valentine, a 2k counter character that on play trashes 3 from your deck, and on KO will draw you 1 card. 1 star, just like Miss Doublefinger, no current leader wants this card. OP14 Croc might, but right now that leader just doesn't have the support showing that would tell me that this card's any good. Alright, moving on from 1-star cards, we've got Rebecca, another stage searcher, and this time for Dressrosa's Coliseum, this 2-cost blocker can grab it from the top 5 of your deck and then play it. A good card, but again, it just doesn't do anything to solve the fundamental issues of the Dressrosa leaders, it just boosts their consistency a bit. Consistency was not the issue, it's their power level. They need a stronger late game play other than just Rebecca and Dakiros. Maybe give them a powerful new 8-cost unit so that Koala can actually reasonably play Dressrosa stuff as well? I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. Anyway, this Rebecca's a 3 out of 5. And the last black card is the event I Knew You People Were Behind This. It's a Perona-only event that allows you to either get the usual 3k power for 1 Dawn to your leader, or you can pay 8 Dawn total in order to get a cost 6 and a cost 4 Thriller Bark character from your trash onto the field. 8 cost for 2 units? Shades of Gecko Moria, especially when you consider that you can get the 6 cost Gecko Moria out from the trash, which plays another 4-drop wrested from your trash. So, like Gecko Moria, you get a total of 3 bodies, and additionally you get to basically pick 2 additional effects from your 4-cost units. There's lots of them from the Thriller Bark package to pick. Basically, you can either get the Perona, which can -3 cost something or make your opponent pitch a card as long as they have 5 or more in hand. You can get a Hogback, which will grab you a 2k out of your trash. Technically, you can grab any Thriller Bark card, but usually it's going to be a 2k. Or you can pick Ryuma, which is going to KO a 4-cost character. And so since you get 2 of them, you can mix and match the effects, maybe KO a 7 cost, maybe draw 2 cards, maybe KO 2 4-cost rested cards. Whatever you'd like. And from there, you still get 3 bodies, so on your next turn you're going to have, well, a lot of cards to swing with. I'll give it 4 stars overall. It's something that Perona definitely, desperately needed, and will be a build-around card for her. It's probably not enough to bring her into the top 5 or anything, but it's possibly enough to at least let her compete and for you to see her at your locals again. Well, that does it for the black cards, and we're on to the last color, which is yellow. And starting things off is Conus, a 2-cost Sky Island character that can give another Sky Island character double attack. I believe this is a 3-star card, a welcome addition to the Kaldagara deck as a way to further pressure the opponent and end the game with speed. Kaldagara is already a tempo deck that has no trouble in getting multiple mid-sized characters into play, and if the opponent ever counters too big on one swing, then this card can really punish them. And for a deck like Kaldagara, that extra push could mean all the difference. Emphasis on could. I'm still not convinced that he can get the job done, but I do think this is a good card for the deck. Smoothie is the next card on the list, a Big Mom Pirates 2k that for 3 Dawn can turn all of your life cards face down as well as KO a 2-cost or less character. I'm giving this one 2 stars. The main use case for this is being a searchable 2k for pudding using the original yellow pudding searcher as well as the new purple pudding searcher. So basically it's double searchable. But it certainly doesn't beat out Zeus for that spot, and the 3-cost Trigger Brulee may just be a little bit more useful for the information it can provide. Still, if aggressive decks become too much of a headache for pudding, then this is definitely a reasonable option to include. Up next is Shirahoshi, a 3-cost merfolk that can trash herself to heal you 1 and boost all your Neptunians 1k for the turn, but only if your leader is Shirahoshi. It's a 3-star card, great for the deck, but just not good enough to push it to meta relevancy, I'm afraid. All she really needs right now is even bigger Neptunians, maybe like a 9-cost Rush 10k one. Because with this card, her survivability really is amazing, and her mid-game has always been good, she just has trouble closing it out since her leader can't attack and her curve stops at 6. Up next we have the first yellow SP. It's a new 5-cost Nami. She's a 6k character that gives Dawn to your leader and forces the opponent to take a life to hand if they ever have 3 or more life as an on-play. Then on KO, she plays a 6k power character or less from your hand. That's right, no restriction on what can be played other than the power, so you can just play another copy of herself. This card is insane, and an instant 5-star character for me. Every yellow deck is going to consider playing Straw Hats just to get access to this card. Alright, well maybe not a Nell, but pretty much every other yellow leader. Just like for the SP Koala, this will help you keep a character on board for your next turn against Emu and Zora without dipping too low on cards in hand. I'm very excited to play this in my Nami deck once this set drops. It's basically a whole new world for that deck, but it should also be excellent in Nico Robin, BY Luffy, hell, even GY Law might play it. I mean, it does give a Dawn to your leader after all. The possibilities abound. Following up the Nami is another yellow straw hat. It's a 3-cost Nico Robin that trashes one of your own life cards in order to heal 1 from the top of your deck. This card is also very good, basically allowing you to stack your life with the trigger as long as you know what your top card is, which is something that the blue blocker Nami could help you do. I don't expect this card to be as widely played as the new Nami, so I'm only giving this 4 stars, but it will still be a great card in the blue-yellow Nami deck as a good way to ensure that you get your leader effect draw while potentially also stacking your life. And for the last SP of the set, it's the 7-cost Nico Robin. She's got 8k power and can trash 1 card from your life in order to heal you 2 as long as you have a Straw Hat leader. Then, if she's KO'd, you can deal 1 damage to the opponent. That's right, this damage can end the game if your opponent has 0 life left. Between her and the new Nami, Yellow Straw Hats are going to have some incredibly annoying bodies for KO-based strategies to contend with. It's very likely decks are going to have to start including bottom decking and character trashing into the removal suites again in order to contend with what is becoming an increasingly annoying lineup of characters. I give this one 5 stars as well, and I can't wait to put this in my Nami deck, but I'm sure that Nico Robin players are also chomping at the bit to get their hands on it. Next, there's Abella Betty 2k, a 3k power character for a cost of 4. She can turn your own life card face up to pop a base 3-cost character. It's not as bad as you might think. It can pop a whole bunch of annoying little blockers that could be getting in the way of your larger characters to help you go for game, but due to how niche it is and how it doesn't have any triggers so it's not searchable by either the Red Betty Searcher or the Lilith Searcher, it's just a 2-star card for me. An option for Betty players, and there's not really any other deck that would want to play it right now. Next is a Yamato card, and this one is powerful. A 5-cost 6k power character that on play gives your Land of Wana leader 3 rest at dawn, and then when KO'd burns your opponent for 1 life. I give this one 4 stars. It's a great tempo play for green-yellow Yamato, and an annoying body to remove, very useful for a deck that was already on the fringe of being meta. I remain skeptical though that Yamato can pull off a top 5 spot for the meta based on the Wano cards in this set, but we'll see what happens. There's also a new Lilith. She's a 5-cost 6k power character that on play draws you a card if it's your turn and you only have 2 or less life left, and then as a trigger, if you're a Vegapunk, it will play itself. I give this one 4 stars, a very powerful card for Vegapunk, but also cannot be searched by the Egghead Searcher on account of it being named Lilith. At the very least, the EB02 Vegapunk can cheat it out since it's also a scientist type. The card draw effect is really what sets this card apart from other Egghead cards, and if it procced on the opponent's turn as well, I do think this would actually boost that deck to be a top 10 contender. For now though, it's just playable. Another new Egghead card is S-Snake. She's a 6-cost 7k character that says if you are an Egghead leader with 2 or more life, you can take a trigger card from hand and put it at the top of your life face up. Additionally, it has a trigger itself which stops non-Monkey D. Luffy characters with cost 6 or less from attacking. Basically, this is a side grade to Kuma, but there's really no reason you can't play both in Bonnie or Vegapunk. I'm only giving a 3-star rating here, as there are a couple of problems with it compared to Kuma. For one, your opponent will see exactly what it is that you stacked in your life, which does limit the impact the trigger effect can have. For another, you can only heal if you have 2 or more life left, meaning that if you're in dire straits and really just need a card to heal you because you're on 0 and about to die, this one's not going to save you. It's definitely playable though, more so I think in Bonnie than in Vegapunk. It's just not an all-star. The last yellow card of the set is a Nami-only event, Will You Be My Servant? This event searches the top 4 of the deck for any card with cost 2 through 8, and it will help you bridge the gap between archetypes should you decide to include multiple in your deck. I'm giving this one 4 stars, as well I think it's very good for Nami. It's not like she was really hurting for available searchers. In fact, sometimes you would want to play a character searcher just because then you could use that character for some of your other bounce effects. So I recognize this is a great consistency tool for playing some hodgepodge decks, but I'm not certain that branching out to every archetype is where you're going to want to be. For right now, I'm leaning just slightly towards Beiji as the better searcher overall, since it does have counterpower and a body. This one, however, does trigger out a life, which is a big plus, and so I'm not counting it out. Just the opposite. I have high expectations for this card, and it's going to enable some very wacky builds. So that's all the regular cards, but there's 2 more secret rares left in the set. First up is EB03-061, it's the Manga Green Uta. She's a 7-cost 8k character with 2 effects. The first lets you restand 1 Dawn and rest an opponent's Dawn or one of their cost 4 or less characters as an activate main. The other lets you rest 1 Dawn in order to restand 1 film-type character at the end of your turn, including yourself. And for this one, I'm dropping another 5-star rating. While she has no counterpower, she basically does everything that you want her to do. Being a 7-cost allows her to dodge all the currently played removal outside of Red Rock. She gives you back a Dawn so your leader can still swing 6k at Ace on the 7 Dawn turn, or you can drop a Searcher with her, or as a Bonnie you can just hold that Dawn up for leader effect. I mean, getting a Dawn back at each turn is just basically great for no matter what situation you're in. In addition, you get to rest a 4-cost like Warcury or Marco, or a Dawn if you don't have any of those in play to contend with, and then at the end of the turn she can still restand herself for 1 Dawn. Using Emu as a yardstick, we can play one of these on 7, play another on 9, and rest their Warcury or any Dawn that they have left. Then, on the 10 Dawn turn, drop a Hody and rest both their blockers and 2 of their Dawn, get 2 Dawn back, and then go 7-9-9-9. Or alternatively, if they left up a lot of Dawn and so didn't swing too hard into you, then instead you can just go for a Beppo Law play, become a 7k leader, still rest their War Fury and go for a 7-8-8 to eat some more cards out of their hand while establishing an 11k, and then being a 7k on your turn so that you'll be able to resist to get to another turn to then go for Hody for game on the next turn and close it out. This is a fantastic card and I can't wait to play it. And then lastly, there's the 8-cost Trafalgar Law with 6k power that rushes, and then as an activate main trashes itself to heal 1 life and play a 7-cost Law from hand, which of course will likely be the 7-cost Dressrosa Law that heals you with a Supernova card out of your own hand. So it's effectively a card that costs 4 cards from your hand in order to heal twice, swing a 6k, and establish a 9k body, and then give your leader a Dawn. It's a bit underwhelming in my opinion for such a steep cost, and so I'm only going to be giving it 3 stars. First of all, it's not a supernova, it's only got Hearts Pirates typing. That means it's immediately more difficult to search and play in both the Law and the Kid decks, which would be the primary suspects for using this, as they are the main users of the 7-cost Law. That just leaves the Purple-Yellow Rosinante, which is admittedly a leader that could make very good use of this card, but unfortunately, Rosinante is already a leader that tends to have difficulty keeping cards in hand, so -4ing to heal 2 just tends to not be the best option. Between the cost and the inconsistency, I do struggle to rate this card any higher than the 3 stars. Alright, so that's all 63 cards from EB03, and after all that, I gotta say I'm quite happy with the possibilities that this set introduces. There's lots of new toys for different leaders to try out, some better than others, and at the very least I do think that a few new deck types will pop up as real contenders for the OP13 trio of Emu, Ace, and Zoro. Obviously, a big winner for me is Blue-Yellow Nami, but I also think that Bonnie, Carrot, Yamato, GY Law, RG Odin, RB Sabo, Koala, RG Smoker, Arlong, Zoro and Sanji, Blue Nami, Sanji, Blue-Yellow Ace, Nico Robin, Lim, Gecko Moria, I mean the list goes on, but all of these leaders get a huge boost. I definitely gave a lot of 3-star ratings out, but usually I feel like when I go through these sets, it's a bunch of 1 and 2-star cards with a couple of 3 and 5s sprinkled throughout, and so I'm definitely excited to see where the meta lands and what leaders can come out on top. Alright, well, I'll probably make another one of these after the OP14 set gets fully introduced, but for right now, if you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.